West Ham seem to become a bit of a one-man team, and it's a massive, massive concern. The one man, of course, is Lucas Paqueta, whatever you want to call him. This has been evident, well, since he's been out, really. We basically don't seem to win without him. Was quite humbling watching West Ham trying to carve open opportunities with defensive players, be it Ben Johnson. I've got no complaints. I thought he performed admirably. I really did. Well done. But it's not his gig. You know what I mean? That's not what he's supposed to be doing. To see Calvin Phillips having long shots, to see Edson Alvarez doing exactly the same, and Emerson having possibly our best chance of the game is a concern. These should be supplement goals. These should be Brucey bonus goals. A goal from Ben Johnson should be a rarity. Once in a while, we all have a laugh about it and we celebrate it. But this should not be the bread and butter. I'm afraid the bread and butter has dried up quite nastily, actually. And what makes it worse is we don't find ourselves in this situation in November or in March. No, we find ourselves in this situation having just had a transfer window. And I'm struggling to see how this has been allowed to happen. It can't be any surprise. I know it's not a surprise because West Ham were clearly chasing attacking players during this transfer window. It's the fact that nobody's managed to get this deal or any of the deals over the line is a big worry. As I understand, we made 3 firm offers during the window. One of them was for Emile Smith-Rowe. Another one was for Jota, and the other one, of course, was for Ibrahim Osman. Was that it? Because it seems to me like the moment none of those deals transpired, we stopped trying to do business. That somebody at the club has decided, actually, no additional attacker is better than anyone else. Be it, look, I used the example of Jonathan Rowe on numerous occasions, but whether it's Jonathan Rowe or Jack Clark or any number of the other players who are doing well maybe on the continent, we decided to go with what we got. And there's no bigger damning indictment of that than playing with Ben Johnson as a winger. That absolutely indicates and tells you, well, hold on, we're in trouble here because we're going to have to play whatever you want to call him, right back, utility player or whatever. And I think he did well. I thought he was West Ham's second best player on the day. I have no criticism of that. But he shouldn't be. I mean, don't get me wrong, he'd be West Ham's second best player, but not. I don't want him to rely on him to attack. I don't want to rely on a 30-yard rip and schnorton from bloody Ben Johnson to win the game. Do you know what I mean? Like some howitzer going into the back of the net. This is what it's got down to. Here's what I don't understand. Why was it allowed to happen that we have not got any cover for Lucas Paqueta? I don't mind, by the way. I hear a lot of people saying, well, hold on, West Ham we get rescued by Lucas Paqueta. It's not David Moyes' tactics because we get rescued by Lucas Paqueta. Now, I would always argue back, well, maybe that is his tactic. Maybe it is his tactic to have everyone defending and working hard and just this one genius. So when it happens, I think, well, that's not an accident. That's what the manager's planned. So do I want it? No, I'd rather be playing sort of swashbuckling football. I really would. However, whilst I would defend the manager's ability to go and do that, here's where it doesn't make sense. I think, okay, Moyes, if that's what you want to do, if what you want to do is play with this one genius in the team, why is there no understudy? Because what he's saying is, this is the style of football I want to play, but when my genius, when my maverick, when the guy that's there that's going to unlock the door for the rest of the team, he's not around, actually, I'm going to revert and I'm going to do something else. I'm going to put someone else. Someone else is going to have to do it. And usually a defensive type player is going to have to open up the opposition. This is absolute madness. Because ideally what you have is you have another maverick there. I mean, it makes absolute sense, does it not? I mean, funny enough, I mentioned Smith-Rowe. Maybe, and I know Arsenal don't rely on one player. I understand this. But maybe when Odegaard is out, as he plays in that sort of creative hub role for Arsenal, I think he does. I don't watch much of Arsenal, but you know what I'm saying. You get my point. Then that's when Smith-Rowe plays, right? So Smith-Rowe's there. He's there as a reserve. Where's ours? And it doesn't have to be quite as good as Paquetá. Of course not. Why would we? But I do find it odd that when he's not in there, that we haven't bought someone for that role. And the point we haven't bought someone for that role, why not just go and get Earthy from the academy? Personally, I don't think he's ready for Premier League football yet. But at least it's something. At least you've got a creative player, someone that can spot a pass, someone that can do something magical. Whilst David Moyes might be missing his Brazilian, I'm certainly not missing mine, and that's because I got myself one of these Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0s. It's significantly better than the 4.0, by the way. And I'll tell you what, the 4.0 was a nifty bit of kit, but this 5.0, I couldn't help myself. I had to open this amazing package, whip out my Lawnmower 5, and look at that. It's got a torch, just like the 4.0. It's waterproof, so you don't do that, but you can have a good old trim up in the shower, just like the 4.0. It's got even faster charging, and these ceramic blades are absolutely brilliant. They do the job, they cut, but they feel blunt. They're not sharp. That's exactly the sort of blade you want if you're going to be putting it anywhere near your nether regions. What we're doing at Hammers Chat, we're going to give you 20% off all of the Manscaped products. By the way, I've got a beard trimmer, and that's pretty pucker too. Let me tell you that much. 20% off plus free shipping. Go to the link in the description below on the Manscaped website. In the promo code, in the discount section, put Hammers Chat, all one word, claim your 20% off. It's quite infuriating to watch us drop down the league. Now, look, we might beat Arsenal, all right? We might start climbing the league again, but it's looking like a drop down the league. Maybe, just maybe, we get Paquetá back and we start climbing the league. We quite possibly will. But it is still predicated and still overly reliant on him. But you know this to be the case with Moyes. Because Moyes either allows, with his attacking players, either no understudy or a massive drop-off when you get to the understudies. Won't do that, will not do that with his defenders. You could tell me who our reserve defender is. He's always been able to. But it doesn't really matter whether it was Balbuena, I know didn't bring him in, or Diop, or when Dawson was brought in. He's always had backup that's sort of ready to go, and he'll spend big money on it, right? He likes to buy a centre-back every season, David Moyes. So it's there. You know who the backups are. And he'll put them in. He won't mess about doing it at all. But actually, you start looking, who's the backup striker? Well, I guess he'll throw a winger in there, won't he? And if he does that, then he'll perhaps throw Danny Ings in there. But, you know, it's an afterthought. Who's the reserve attacking midfielder? We've already ascertained there isn't one. Who's the reserve right winger? Well, but you know what? Two of them can sort of cover that position. That's fine. He'll keep two left backs. He'll keep two right backs. He'll double up all over that defence, and then he'll still have another utility player in there. Every position. Got a spare right back, got a spare left back, two spare centre halves. He'll absolutely do that. He really will. And I just think it demonstrates his mindset, which his defence is so important to him. He'll double up and he'll have loads of backup. And just attack is not that important. He just fancies and he thinks he's going to nick one. And that's going to come as no surprise to a lot of you. You'll just say, well, of course he just thinks he's going to nick one. But having looked at the situation that's got us into the position, well, we were sixth, that's got us up there, why wouldn't he think, okay, well, this is working for me now. This is working for me. But I think he might be confused what's worked for him. I wonder what he thinks when he sees Jared Bowen and Mohamed Kudus like we saw him against, either take your pick, be it Bournemouth or Man United. When he sees them just not overly involved. Does he not look at it and think, it's that pass, it's that guy in the middle to make that pass to them? Because he's not there. It's just not there. And I do find it absolutely infuriating that that would be the case. What are we going to do about it? I don't know. We're going to need a massive amount of luck. We need everybody to stay fit between now and the end of the season. When I say everybody, I mean Paquetá and Mikel Antonio. But I don't think it's being unreasonable if I point out that Antonio's missed most of the season, right? I think that's fair to say that. Would you not agree? He's missed most of the season so far, from the start of the season to now. We need him. Not necessarily to start games, but we need him. Because the drop-off to either playing Danny Ings, who, yes, I thought he played really well when he played as number 10 in that game, but I don't think he's the answer, right? Played well, was it Sheffield United? He's not the answer. He's really not. And if it's not Danny Ings, then David Moyes is going to try and create by using defensive players, shoehorning fullbacks into in creative midfield positions. And I think it's fair to say right wing is a creative midfield position, right? He'll just shoehorn them in there. And this is not the first time it's happened. A lack of investment in the transfer window, when we've had an opportunity to push on, he just turns it down. It's like he declines opportunity. And it is frustrating. He is. Statistically, David Moyes is one of the most successful managers we've had in a long time. And actually, he himself could put the argument to bed, I think, with a 4th season of European football. I think even David Moyes' harshest critics would be able to say, you know what, that's hard to argue with that. 4 seasons of European football. So I would expect David Moyes to give himself every chance of getting that 4th season, even if it's just to stick 2 fingers up at the people that criticise him. But he's decided, I don't know if... I've got some theories. They're not for now. But I think he's decided, actually, I'm just going to go with this. And he must be really sure. Must be really sure of himself, really sure of his stability at the club, really sure that players aren't going to get annoyed and leave, really sure that players like Kudus is going to stay around with no European football, really cocksure to gamble it. I think, I'm not going to... That's fine. That's fine. 9th or 10th is cool with me. Maybe he's just got such belief in his ability that he's... Maybe he saw it last season with the Conference League. But that's okay. The defensive stuff will win through. But there were times last season with Declan Rice where we were a one-man team, maybe a two-man team with Jared Bowen. And I don't mean that to be unfair on a lot of the players who played well last season, but we did have a relegation battle for 2/3 of last season. I think the difference is with last season maybe that you never felt that losing one player would have an impact on another, and maybe losing Declan Rice, who didn't really miss many games. I think that was the point. So Bowen, looked okay, didn't he? I think with no Paquetá then Bowen's just not firing. He's really not. There's no one close to him. I felt for him. I really did feel. I felt for a lot of the West Ham players. I do. As I thought they tried. I thought they tried against Manchester United. I really did. But ultimately, the huff in the puffing wasn't enough to blow the house down, and you need someone that's going to light the spark, don't you? And we just didn't have it. And I do. I worry that West Ham have become a one-man team. Let's just hope that our Brazilian Magnifico is as close to first-team return as his Instagram or Snapchat or whatever it is would suggest. Let's hope that's true and not these sort of 5-week rumours, because if that's the case, then I don't have any faith. I have faith. If Paquetá comes back, I have faith that we'll climb the league again. I do. I have faith that we can win games. If he doesn't return, I don't have any faith that the manager can find a solution. I've seen him try 3 different things now and none of them have worked.